everybody, welcome back to my channel with me, Zeva. A few days ago, one of my friends texted me and she asked me a question. Zeva, do you know any children-friendly movies and films that also teach us about environmental values? And I was like, oh my god, that is just very timely because I've been thinking of making a video on my YouTube channel that shares with people, it shares with you all, the recommended children-friendly films and movies, animated children-friendly films and movies that also teach us about environmental values. I do believe that films and movies are great learning tools. You can teach people various kinds of messages through watching a really good movie, a really good film. And when I look back into my childhood, I can remember a few movies that have environmental messages in there. Not a lot of them do, but some of them do. And even when I grow out of my childhood days and into my preteen, teenage, and young adult years, I do notice when there are movies out there that have an environmental message. So based on these animated movies that I've already watched, I also decided to add additional ones that I've found from people out there who have been recommending them. And that is the background of this video. By the way, while we're at it, I also want to share with you another video that I previously made a while back. It is a video on recommended scripted environment movies made by Hollywood. There are many environment and natural disaster themed movies that I reviewed, so if you want to watch that video after you watch this one, go to my channel and search it there. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. So let's get started and find out what these animation movies on environmental issues are, and stay tuned. The Lorax is adapted from a Dr. Seuss book titled the same that was published in 1971. Illumination Entertainment produced this 3D CGI version and Universal Pictures released it back in 2012. This animation follows a 12-year-old boy named Ted Wiggins who lives in Thneedville, a walled artificial city with no living plants. One day, he developed a crush on a girl named Audrey, who is also an environmentalist.
Amazing! What are those?
Those are trees. They used to grow all around here. What I want more than anything is to see a real living tree.
To win her affections, he decides to gift her with a real living tree. His grandmother told him a legendary tale about the Onceler who knows what happened to the trees in Thneedville.
Did you chop down this tree?
What's that?
Hey!
I think he did it.
So off he went on an adventure to find out more about this and ultimately to win the attention of the girl of his dreams. This movie is a great start to explain to children and younger viewers about deforestation, air pollution, and urbanization.
Behold, the intruder and his violent ways. Shame on you. For shame.
All right, you know what? That's it. You listen to me, you furry meatloaf. I'm gonna chop down as many trees as I need. Okay? Newsflash, not going anywhere.
But did you know that in 1989, the state of California in the US banned Dr. Seuss' The Lorax book because it was deemed to have a bad impression on the logging industry, a very big and thriving industry in California? Who knew a children's book could pose a political threat to policymakers? Cars 2, released in 2011, is a sequel to Cars, released in 2006. This 3D action-adventure comedy is produced by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures. Race car Lightning McQueen with buddy tow truck Mater traveled overseas to Japan and Europe to compete in the World Grand Prix.
It is my absolute honor to introduce to you the first ever World Grand Prix.
Go McQueen!
After he was challenged by rival Italian Formula race car Francesco Bernoulli.
Yes, you will see, Francesco. Like this. He is so getting beat tomorrow.
The World Grand Prix creator, Sir Miles Axelrod, intends to also promote his new environmentally friendly fuel, Alinol. But a twist of fate happened when Mater accidentally was involved in an international espionage.
Finn McMissile, British intelligence.
Almighty. Average intelligence.
This is where more environmental issues step in. From oil rigs, big oil villains, and alternative fuel advocates, this movie will introduce children and young ones to non-renewable and renewable energy issues in the transportation industry.
No one realizes they're being fooled because they're too busy laughing at the fool.
Is that how you see me?
That's how everyone sees you. Isn't that the idea?
Oh, also the existence of secret agents too. WallE was released in 2008 by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures. Jumping into the 29th century, a small solitary waste compactor robot called Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class, or WallE, lives in an uninhabitable and deserted wasteland Earth filled with garbage with other WallEs. Humans have been evacuated 7 centuries earlier on giant starliners by a mega corporation. One day, this particular WallE met a particular probe named Extraterrestrial Vegetation Evaluator, or EVE, sent by the starship Axiom to scan the planet for human sustainable life. Sooner than later, they fell in love. One day, WallE showed Eve his most recent finding, and their adventure in the galaxy started there.
10 seconds to self-destruct. You are now free to move around the cabin.
Can WallE and Eve help humanity to begin recolonization? This movie is a great start to introduce the children and young ones about the issues of waste management, corporatocracy, consumerism, environmental neglect, obesity, and global catastrophical risks. One of my personal favorites. Spirit of the Forest is a 2008 Spanish animation by Digraph Films. This movie has a bit of a grim twist to it with a more gothic style look, so it may not suit very young children.
Every plant and every animal has a destiny all its own. Mother Nature is wise.
The story circles on Mrs. De Abondo, a lady who leads a company who wants to cut down a nearby forest to make way for a highway.
You want us to cut down the trees?
What are a bunch of trees in exchange for progress?
The entire forest is in danger!
We'll show man what we're capable of. We're all in this together.
I will cut down any tree that gets in my way!
When this message was heard by the forest animals, these forest animals led by Fury decide to come together and save the forest from Mrs. De Abondo's plan. After some searching, they found out about something that could terrify Mrs. De Abondo and cancel her plans.
Today it's this forest, and tomorrow it'll be another one, and another, and another!
Through this movie, we will learn more about habitat protection, deforestation, and infrastructure projects that usually leads to environment destruction. The Simpsons Movie by Fox was released in 2007 and has a humorous environmental twist. The film follows Homer Simpson, who pollutes Springfield's lake, also the town's water supply source. He accidentally polluted it with lumps of poo of his adopted pig.
Apparently someone didn't get the message.
It was you!
This triggered the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA.
Mr. President.
Yeah, that is me.
Pollution in Springfield has reached crisis levels. I've narrowed your choices down to 5 unthinkable options. Each will cause untold misery.
I picked number 3.
You don't even want to read them first?
I was elected to lead, not to read.
To imprison the town under a giant glass dome by the random orders of President Arnold Schwarzenegger.
To prevent your poisons from spreading, your government has sealed you all within this dome.
Because of this incident, the Simpsons became fugitives when the townspeople found out they were the culprit. They fled to Alaska. Whilst all this escaping, they found out that their hometown Springfield is facing a bigger danger too that threatens the existence of the town. Will this be a chance for Homer to redeem himself after the poo incident, or this will be his vengeance for the mobs who tried to kill him?
The word apology is tossed around a lot these days.
You have to watch this funny movie to see. One of my all-time favorites. This movie is a funny family movie. Anyone of any age will enjoy it while also learning more about water pollution and also forceful land use change issues. Over the Hedge is a 2006 comic strip-based animation comedy produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Paramount Pictures. A raccoon named RJ fools a family of forest creatures into helping him repay a debt of food to a black bear named Vincent by invading the new suburban sprawl that popped up while they were hibernating. Meanwhile, a group of forest animals led by Fern the box turtle emerge from hibernation to find that their food cache is nearly empty. When foraging for more food, they found a large hedge blocking their way, which apparently is a part of a suburban human residential community.
What is that? BHA, BHT, and good old MSG, aka the chip. Dig in!
Woo!
And the battle
I need a business listing for the Verminator.
is on. Let's party!
RJ the raccoon saw these animals' desperation for food and the human residential community as an opportunity for him to repay back Vincent the bear.
You feel that buzzing in the back of your skull?
Yeah.
That's called a sugar rush. Whoa! The last thing you need is caffeine.
What will happen to these animals? Will they encounter problems with the humans? Will RJ the raccoon stay selfish and fool the other animals? Will the animals manage to fill their food cache? This movie shares a lot of value about family, honesty, and also land use changes for human residential areas that could negatively impact animal and forest conservation. Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest is a 1992 animation adapted from the book of the same name. The film is produced by Croyer Films, Young Heart Productions, FAI Films, and 20th Century Fox. This animation follows Krista, a fairy who lives in Fern Gully, a pristine, virgin, magical rainforest. Krista is the apprentice of Magi, a motherly figure fairy who imprisoned Hexus, a dark spirit, in a tree. One day, Krista meets Zack, a young lumberjack, whom she accidentally shrinks to her fairy size when she tries to save him from being crushed by a falling tree.
Look out!
You shrank me?
Yeah.
Catches on quick, doesn't it?
Are you really a human?
I'm Zack.
I'm Krista. This weird creature is a human.
Don't you think you're a little old to believe in human tales?
Humans don't have tails. They have big bottoms that they wear with bad shorts.
That falling tree is where Hexus, the dark spirit, was imprisoned. He was set free. To become stronger, Hexus feeds on pollution and regain his powers. He then decides to seek revenge to the fairies of Fern Gully by manipulating humans to do the unthinkable. Zack, with the fairies and Fern Gully animals, need to find a way to save the rainforest.
Now, to get back to his world, Zack must help Krista find the courage
We've got nowhere else to go.
and the magical power to save her world.
Well, all right, Gummy. We're going to war.
This movie is great to introduce to children and young ones about forest destruction, human greed, and protection of wildlife. Princess Mononoke is a 1997 Japanese animation by Studio Ghibli for Tokuma Shoten, Nippon Television Network, and Dentsu. This anime is more suitable for older age children and up. The story follows a young Amishi prince named Ashitaka and his involvement in a struggle between the forest gods and the humans who consume its resources. Ashitaka's right arm was cursed by a demon.
What exactly are you here for?
To see with eyes unclouded by hate.
In the journey to find his cure, he met townspeople who earned their livelihoods through mining and unintentionally became in the middle of a conflict between the forest gods and these townspeople from Iron Town.
When the forest has been cleared and the wolves wiped out, this place will be the richest land in the world.
This anime teaches a lot about excessive natural resources extraction, trust, conflict resolution, and stakeholders with various interests towards a conflicting situation.
You cannot alter your fate, however. You can rise to meet it if you choose.
An award-winning anime worth to watch. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is a 1984 Japanese animated science fantasy adventure film based on a 1982 manga. It was animated by Topcraft for Tokuma Shoten and Hakuhodo. For a 1980s anime, the quality is amazing. Taking place in a future post-apocalyptic world after a 1,000 years gap since the 7 Days of Fire, an apocalyptic war that destroyed civilization and created the vast poisonous toxic jungle, the film tells the story of Nausicaa, the young pacifist warrior princess of the Valley of the Wind.
清らかな風の吹く風の谷に心優しい少女ナウシカがいた。人類は残り少ない資源を争って戦い合い、
She becomes embroiled in a conflict with Tolmekia, a kingdom that tries to use an ancient weapon to eradicate a jungle full of mutant giant insects. Nausicaa explores the jungle and tries to understand its creatures to find a way for it and humans to coexist. One night, a massive cargo aircraft from the kingdom of Tolmekia, a military state, crashes into the valley. Its sole survivor, Princess Lastel of Pejit, pleads with Nausicaa to destroy the cargo, but then dies. The cargo is an embryo of a giant warrior, a humanoid bioweapon that caused the 7 Days of Fire apocalyptic war 1,000 years before. Soon after, Tolmekian troops led by Princess Kushana invade the valley and cause havoc in the toxic jungle. Through this anime, you will uniquely learn more about habitat conservation, ground pollution, reforestation, and even wars that create environmental damage. This gem of an anime will give you more than you expect from a 1980s animation. Bambi is a 1942 animation produced by Walt Disney and based on the 1923 book Bambi, A Life in the Woods. It is the 5th Disney animated feature film. Bambi is a faun who will one day take over the position of Great Prince of the Forest, a title currently held by Bambi's father, who guards the woodland creatures against the dangers of hunters. Bambi likes to explore the world around him and make friends.
Well, what's the matter with them?
They're Twitter-pated.
Twitter-pated?
Yes. Nearly everybody gets Twitter-pated in the springtime.
It's not gonna happen to me. Me neither.
It can happen to anybody.
He is also aware of the dangers of the world through his mother. One day, he saw the human hunter named Man for the first time.
We must go deep into the forest. Hurry.
Eventually, he learns that Man is dangerous. As time goes by, Bambi grew into a stag and fell in love with Fallon, a doe who is also his childhood friend. However, their courtship is quickly interrupted by challenge after challenge, including an environmental hazard that swept into the forest. This classic animation teaches children and young ones about the importance of family, friendship, the ugliness of hunting, and careless human activities that could destroy the environment. So those are the animated environment movies that you can watch. You don't have to have kids already or like younger nephews and nieces to watch these movies. Even me, even though I'm an adult, I'm still into cartoons and animation when I feel like it. If you want to know how to have access to these movies, you can always search it on YouTube. I think a few of them are on YouTube. And you can always search on Google, because what can't you find on Google nowadays? There are so many movie platforms out there that you can search, that you can stream online or even download, including the older movies. Or if you still have a DVD player, if that is still a thing nowadays, you can always go to the DVD store and look there. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and join the tribe, and I'll see you in the next video.